My name's Brad Baker. I'm the founder of Abano Ag Tech Solutions. I went out on my own to start Abano simply because I've had a lot of peers in the industry suggest that through my experience in participating in Software's growth and working with a team there, I might have something to offer to other companies that are looking to grow their business as well. Quickly got pretty fond of Gripp as a product. I go back to my experience as an OEM and how hard it was really to track what was going on with our product once it left the dealer's lot. We just lost all kinds of visibility. We had to rely on old school techniques like going and visiting customers on site and collecting information there, relying on data that's coming through multiple tiers, through the dealers, through our territory reps, through our customer service team. And there just was no reliable way to foster a really close connection with the customer. Gripp has done such a good job at establishing a relationship at the owner operator level first and starting to get an environment built up. I see a good opportunity for OEMs and dealers to come in and leverage that to improve their relationship with the customer. Just to give an example, like to reach the same level of customer contact as you'd be able to achieve with Gripp, we would have to spend a lot of time organizing trips to go and visit customers and collect that information. And in places like Western Canada or the US Central Plains and other remote areas, it's really inefficient. You have to spend hours of driving around and you maybe see 2 or 3 customers in a day. And the quality of those visits is very, very good. And I wouldn't suggest that anything Gripp does is a replacement for face-to-face with the customer. That's obviously very valuable. But if you're looking to find a larger sample sizes of key pieces of information, regarding how the customer is interacting with their machine in terms of maintenance and support, this is really the most efficient way I've seen. And so that's what excites me about it. It's a multiplier on your customer relationships as an OEM. Also, the regional tracking of the assets, you get a sense of the aging of the assets and all those things. You're able to pull some pretty valuable insights out of that information too. And for any OEM that's tried to plan a parts distribution network and understand, the population of units in a given region, smaller OEMs will understand that there's a lot of guesswork that goes on there too, simply because it's hard to actually know, especially if you have, a 10, 15, 20-year history in a given region, what's going on there. Also for sales forecasting, to understand the general age of a fleet of equipment in a given region gives you some ability to predict what the buying cycle might be. It's another tool in the toolbox for making any type of added value or added information that comes into that whole process of forecasting sales is extremely important, especially when it comes to planning manufacturing capacity and so on. So yeah, the immediate impression that I get from Gripp is just that opportunity there from an OEM perspective. And then from a dealer perspective as well, I know that when we were working with our sales force through the dealer group, type of problem exists in that, there is a lot of work that needs to be done to gather the insights on our customers' fleet of equipment to do the same type of operations, to forecast what our sales are going to be, to understand what the opportunities are going to be with those customers in terms of when are they going to flip machines and bring them in on trade, and when's the next opportunity for us to sell them something. Again, it doesn't replace face-to-face meetings with those customers. Those types of relationships are extremely important to manage in a face-to-face manner. That's what the customer wants. But you can spend more of those visits developing a real, more personal relationship with that customer instead of just going through the kind of the hard facts of the operation and going through the checklist of asking, what's going on with this machine, how many hours are on it, and so on and so forth. You can really just focus on, hey, how's your business going? How's your operation going? And really developing that more genuine connection with the customer instead. So I see a lot of value there too. For dealers, it could be another tool in the toolbox for appraising trades too. And I think, as anybody that's done trade valuations knows, there's a lot of tools in the toolbox already in terms of estimating value. But I think we all know that without knowing the specific machine history, it's still a bit of guesswork. And if there's anything that allows more confidence in that trade valuation for the dealer moving forward, this is just an extra element to bring that confidence in. And if I was still a dealer, I'd be thinking pretty hard about incentivizing the use of Gripp just for that reason, because there's a lot of value in just having that extra knowledge and making that process a lot simpler for us. Because the dealers really do deal in used equipment. It's a huge part of being a dealer. Everybody pays attention to the new equipment, but so much of that business is managing that used equipment. So a tremendous amount of value there too. So overall, from both perspectives, from an OEM standpoint, from a dealer standpoint, I think this whole system shows a lot of potential for smaller, medium-sized OEMs, especially. And I've been through this myself. I mean, you could spend millions on systems for managing warranty and customer service tracking, all kinds of different software packages that are out there that are really broad, really general, and really top heavy. And a lot of it just isn't in the budget. It's not something at that size of an enterprise you're really able to or willing to spend the money on. And what I see with Gripp is it offers a really cost effective way to jump in and get some of that benefit without having to buy all that extra overhead as well with any of the software packages that are out in the market. So if you don't have a warranty management system, if you're taking warranty claims through email, phone, and all other kinds of media, and it seems like a messy, scattered, disorganized system that you're managing through a series of spreadsheets, this product is a really great, simple way to manage warranty tracking for some of these smaller businesses. And it's not a complete warranty management suite, but like I said, it's something that's maybe a little bit more in the budget wheelhouse for some of these smaller organizations. And then again, we recognize too that not all OEMs deal through a dealer network. A lot of them prefer to deal direct due to the nature of the product or through preference. You need pretty robust systems to interact with the customer if you're going to do that. One of the major issues with going direct as an OEM is it's limiting in terms of how you can scale, simply because traditionally you'd have to invest in a lot of boots on the ground that would be there to communicate in a given region with a given customer. And that's, still something that long term those OEMs are going to have to invest in. But I would say having Gripp could potentially delay that investment because it almost helps you act larger than you actually are as a business by giving you some of those streamlined abilities to mix with your customers if you're dealing direct. So I see that as a big benefit as well. What a lot of cynics might look at is this is another package out there on top of many packages that have been offered in terms of warranty management systems, field support systems, all that sort of stuff. I think what separates Gripp out from this is that it's very focused, and they've kept the system very simple, especially for the end owners operators. If you don't get engagement from that owner operator base, the rest of the system simply doesn't work.